We are told that this is one of the incidents that Meghan Markle really feels very sorry about. But as ever, what are we talking about? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to see you today. Now listen, I don't know if you know this, but May has a lot of famous celebrity birthdays. Oh, it does indeed, yes, I'm saying nothing. But if you cast your mind back, I know we're all young at heart, but this particular gentleman was a huge superstar back in the day. Sadly, we lost him in 1950. But if I told you that the name of his biggest film ever, way back in the late 20s, was The Jazz Singer, then you'll know I'm talking about the ever brilliant Al Jolson. Remember, of course, when The Jazz Singer was released, a lot of people ran out the cinema. Yes, not because, of course, he was blacked up as he did and was allowed to do back in those days, but simply because, of course, they'd never heard anybody coming out of a speaker before. They wondered where the voice was coming from. How times have changed. Warner Brothers, the makers behind that particular movie, started a revolution that to this day, of course, we take for granted. But it was Al Jolson that truly started and starred in the very first sound talkie. As ever though, back to your breaking ball story of the day. It's interesting to note, isn't it, with Meghan Markle, we all sort of looked in aghast when she was on the Ellen show. First of all, there was no pre-warning about that. We're not quite sure why she popped up. Some people thought she was there to try and flog the bench. That was her book at the time. And of course, you know, they had this very warm, friendly chat. And then she did the skit, you know, where she was seen drinking out of a baby's bottle, crouching down, doing the squat. Very, very embarrassing for anyone, never mind a former member of the British monarchy. I never understood why celebrities agreed to do that. I think a lot of them now would be cringing at their involvement alongside the former chat show host Ellen. But here's where the story as ever gets interesting, because the Ellen show is now finished. That was, of course, because there were lots of unsavoury stories about the toxic atmosphere and bullying behind the scenes. But is Ellen about to get her own back? And should Meghan Markle now be concerned? What we can tell you, and as ever we have to say allegedly, is that book publishers abound, shall we say, are circling Ellen to give her side of the story on the colossal success that was the Ellen show and all the big star guests that appeared on there. Now, as we know, and we found out afterwards, Ellen didn't remain friends with all of the people on the show. One friend that we thought she may have kept in touch with was none other than the former royal Meghan Markle, but that appears not to be the case. And what's interesting there is, if you think about it, Ellen, of course, didn't attend the wedding, you know, so unlike Oprah Winfrey and George Clooney and the other people that were deemed A-list enough, Ellen sadly didn't make it. But what she did let slip was that she'd met the children on screen. And of course, there's been very little heard about these children. So for Ellen now to pen this tell-all book could be very embarrassing once again for someone like Meghan Markle. It also goes to the theory, doesn't it? Be careful who you meet on the way up, because on the way down, they get their poison pen out. Now, I'm not suggesting for one moment that Helen will do a sort of hijacking of people. What's interesting for Meghan and Harry is they seemingly have never truly worked out who the people that they should be associating with and who they aren't. And I think more importantly for Harry and Meghan also, they're truly not used to playing the Hollywood merry-go-round, that 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. And if you're down and you need some exposure, then the best way, of course, is to write a tell-all book. Will this be another adventure that Meghan and Harry live to regret? As ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.